Good day traders and welcome to this week's episode of Crypto Vibes with Vault. Now as usual, I'll start off with the higher time frame charts first and then transition into the lower time frame charts, give an overview of what I'm looking at and how I plan to trade it. So if you're watching this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Now I know that I've covered this in the past as well, but this is for the folks who are watching this for the first time. Now in my previous videos, we've been watching three key levels of possible support and resistance on Bitcoin. First was this key level of support, then this key SR, and then this key level of resistance. Now each time we've seen a significant move from the extremes of the range, which has made significant amount of money to us just by trading within this range itself. So now I had covered a possible scenario of a deviation above this mid-range. Now what happened was the fact that price got above this range, above the mid-range, and couldn't even push around the mid or upper end of this resistance, kind of showed an extreme weakness in the market. We got back below the mid-range and sold off aggressively, just as we predicted. So price formed a deviation, and any acceptance below or break of this level would have triggered an additional sell-off. That's what I had covered in the previous videos, and that's what we've seen in the market. Now, what are the possible outcomes or scenarios that are possible from here? The idea still remains valid. The fact that we took around 7 weeks to break out of this resistance and then immediately we broke this level of support is again an indication of weakness in the market, which we've seen price retest this level and another aggressive sell-off from this level. So from a bullish perspective, let me cover the bullish perspective first. If this region around here turns out to be the bottom or at least a temporary bottom, then this key level again remains an important level that price needs to reclaim, and then we can target higher prices. So possibly what can be formed is, if we reclaim this level, we reclaim the mid-range, price then needs to gyrate around this level before it breaks out. I don't expect this to break out immediately. Just by looking at the reaction, the initial reaction that we had from this level of resistance. So from a weekly, this is well, the only bullish case for now that I can see if this turns out to be the temporary bottom. Now, what are some of the scenarios that can be possible if we continue the further sell-off? Now, let me tell you that I am a bit cautious around this level, because we have retested this region for a very long time now, and I am not really too keen to buy unless I see strength coming in. So for now, I'm a bit cautious, especially because of this deviation that we've formed. Now, another reason why I'm not too keen to long at this position is because the equities and the traditional markets are aggressively selling off. So now if the traditional markets are looking like this, I won't be really interested in longing the risk assets such as crypto, because if equities can move like a 5% in a couple of days, there could be the moves in crypto would be fairly aggressive than just 5 to 10%. So I'm a bit cautious in going long at this position or at this region unless I see some sort of strength coming into the market. With that being said, what are some of the possibilities that we can see if price continues to sell off from this region? Now the idea or the possibility of us once again tagging this level still remains to be high, especially after this deviation. So and this would be like one of the regions where I'd be interested in longing Bitcoin again, considering the fact that this is like the extreme end of the range and one of the key or a critical support level, because if this breaks, then there could be carnage in the marketplace. So this level is still an area of interest for me, especially considering that we have key levels or key lows around here. So if price comes back down to this level and takes out all these lows into this level of demand and then reclaims above, so this forms a deviation, and then we can look at positioning ourselves. So this would act as a confluence rather for our long bias. So now this is one of the scenarios that I'm watching. Obviously I expect these lows to be swept, but if we come down and do not sweep these lows, then again this should act as a key level of resistance, and then we can possibly form something like this. So again, there are a plethora of scenarios that can unfold. However, the key levels that I'm watching is this level of support and this level of resistance for now. Now what happens if, let's suppose, this level doesn't hold as well? So now we do have equal lows around this region, which is a heavy zone of liquidity. So if we do manage to get a push below this level, the retail traders would again see this as a indication of a break of a key level of support, and this again is seen as a key level of support. So any break below this level, and then if price manages to reclaim it, then that for me is the most ideal scenario where I will go heavy in longs on Bitcoin. So from this region, which is around 28k, to around this region, which is 32k, this becomes our trading range once price gets back above this level. Now again, if this scenario does unfold, then this level remains to be seen if we could again get a retest, or if it could break out in the first attempt itself, which is highly unlikely. So these are some of the scenarios that I'm looking at if price continues to sell off on the weekly. Now let's continue with the daily now. Now again, going back to my previous analysis videos, I had covered this level, this daily level, as a key level of resistance, and price needed to reclaim it for a continuation higher. We moved into this level and then broke market structure. So this was a clear indication of, again, bearishness on the daily once price had tagged the daily as well as the weekly level. So now from a support standpoint, again, this region again remains as a key level of support, and from a range perspective, if we see so from a range perspective as well, price is currently at the mid-range of this entire move. Now, whenever price kind of forms a deviation like this, that is a cause of concern and kind of indicates weakness in price. So we saw a deviation above the mid-range, and then we saw a deviation above the range high of this entire range, which was a clear indication that price wanted to go down lower, and this was one of the scenarios that we had covered. So from a bullish perspective now, what we should see is, or the most ideal situation from a daily chart perspective would be that we break below mid-range, we consolidate around this level of support and then close above. So this then becomes your deviation, and that would indicate a bullish some bullish momentum to continue towards this level of daily as well as the weekly resistance that we've already highlighted in the just moments ago. So price is currently at the mid-range, but this is something that I'll be looking at. Any deviation below, and that's a clear indication of strength in the marketplace. Now, because price has been at this level for or on multiple occasions, I am a bit cautious, as I just mentioned. But again, I would take a long if we form something like this. And then obviously from a bearish perspective, we break below mid-range, we are not able to reclaim this, the mid-range. We find acceptance below, and then we break below. That would indicate that the sell-off will continue towards the weekly level of support that I just highlighted. So from a weekly and daily perspective, these are some of the scenarios that I'm watching, and I'm not really keen to watch what's going on some of the lower time frames, because we are at the point where the higher time frame now takes emphasis over the lower time frames, because simply because we have retested this region for quite some time now. So if the lower time frame starts to break down, then obviously we are going to see lower prices, and this again becomes a key level of interest for me. So this is what I'm watching on Bitcoin from a daily and a weekly perspective. I've already covered Ethereum in the short video that I posted last week, and the idea again kind of remains the same on Ethereum. And let me just pull out the chart. So as long as this level holds on Ethereum, I think we should be expecting price to move higher. But once it breaks below, then obviously we're going towards the 2500 region. Again, the charts or the levels that I had highlighted in the free channel and in the previous analysis videos are perfectly respected. And again, so as long as this level holds, I think we should see price bounce. Now, I think that this is a time to be a bit cautious. As I explained, the equities market and the stock market are aggressively selling off. So how Bitcoin and other risk assets would move higher is something which is beyond me, because it shouldn't. But let's see what happens in the next few weeks. So this is all for today. Like and subscribe to the channel to show support, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.